My guest today is Audrey Phillips, class of 1997. How are you today, Audrey?
I'm good. Good. It's a good night. It's like close to 80 degrees out, so it's like summer weather.
Good
So
deal.
yeah.
So tell us what you've been up to since 1997.
When I graduated from high school at governor school, we were in TJ building at the time. I went to JMU for a year, and then I moved to Florida. I went to FAU, Florida Atlantic University. I got my degree in HR and international business. And I stayed there for 4 more years. I love the beach. I love the weather there. So I stayed a total of 8 years in Florida. Then moved to Atlanta for 2.5 years. Didn't like it. Too spread out, too sprawled out. And then I moved back to Richmond, Virginia. I've been here for the last 10 years. And I live in Henrico. Yep. So I've been working for the state for the last 3 years, but I worked for the private sector and the city of Richmond for a while as well. So I've been bouncing around here and there, but everything's been pretty good, I have to say.
Good deal. What
Yeah.
is what is an average day in the life of an HR person like for the Commonwealth of Virginia?
I work in recruitment, so we deal a lot with post positions, talking to candidates on the phone, setting up interviews, all that. I do employee relations as well from time to time at my present position, and I've done it in the past. So a lot of delicate topics, hostile work environment, and just ensuring equity across the board with recruitment and employee relations. So any part of HR is a lot of this equity and promoting diversity as well. So those are the
That's cool.
landmarks of HR pretty much.
hmm What are the biggest challenges with recruitment for working for the government?
Um, Salary,
hmm
because the government doesn't pay as well as private sector. So it's the benefits are better. You get more days off, but you don't get that pay like a lot of people like, especially in this day and age. So that's been the biggest challenge is trying to entice people to come to the state and just ensuring them that it's a great place to work. There's a lot of growth and development in the state. And I had an issue with the city as well. Just any local state government, you're going to have that issue, I think.
Totally.
Other than that, yeah. But sometimes, a lot of times we get people who are already in the state, and that's much easier than someone who's on the outside.
hmm how soon did you know that you wanted to specialize in HR? Like what drew you to HR?
Oh, FAU, my career counselor. I didn't know what I wanted to do at all for a long time, for a
hmm
couple of years. And then she told me, oh, what about HR? Won't you double major in HR and international business? Because international business is so broad. She told me to specialize in something. So I selected HR, and I love it. I really do. Luckily, I majored in something that I'm still in. So that's always a good thing. And not trying to figure it out. But yeah, it's been good so far. I can't complain.
What languages did you take at Governor's School? I don't remember.
So yeah, I took Spanish and sign language. I want to get back to sign language. That's a great language to know, I feel like.
Are you using either of those on a regular basis?
No, I'm horrible at retaining language. I'm horrible at retaining language. I would like to be more fluent in foreign language. Do you know any languages?
Yeah, so I took German. I did 4 years in German and two of
Hmm.
Spanish, and I remember practically nothing. Especially living in San Diego for 20 years, I really wish my Spanish were stronger. And
Yeah,
I've jumped in Duolingo a few times, and I've had streaks, for like a few weeks where I'm really doing it every day. But yeah, it just doesn't stick very well. I need to be in an environment that makes me do it. Like I think if I
right,
lived in Mexico, I'd be fluent for sure.
right. Well, and especially I love to travel, so it would be nice to know languages when I go to different places. Most of the places I've gone to have been English speaking, but still, at some point I want to go to Costa Rica and other places. So me having Spanish skills would be nice, but
Totally. What has changed the most for you this year relative to last year, just in general?
well, with the pandemic, it's more time alone, not much social interaction with other people. But at the same time, I've done a lot of self reflection. This time alone has been great with that, both personally and professionally. What do I want to do with the rest of my life? Because
hmm
we're at the age now, we're like, okay, uh, we are not 40s. It's scary. It's like, oh my God, this happened. Because I
hmm
remember we were in high school not too long ago. And then it's like, okay, now we're really middle-aged people, and it's like, okay, so just figuring out what I want to do, personally and professionally, and looking at my life and the people in my life, and it's, who do I want to keep in my life? Who do I want not to keep in my life? Just a lot of growth in that area, I would say, has
Totally.
kept me sane with all the craziness that's going on. But I just hope for positive change, you know,
Totally.
definitely.
How is the pandemic, and I assume everybody that you work with is working remotely. How has recruitment changed this year for you? Like, are you guys still recruiting, and how does that work?
Yeah, we're still recruiting. We are still recruiting. It hasn't changed much because a lot of what I do is on the phone or through email.
Hmm.
It's 2020, so I think it's a good time to leverage our technology that we have anyway. So a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. We use Google Meet at work, so a lot of video conferencing with interviews. That's how we do the interviews, the video conferencing instead of face to face. So that's really the only change, really. It's just the way we would communicate, but we can still communicate with candidates. So it hasn't been that big of a deal for me. It's just different. No.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I assume that government jobs are not necessarily using technology like by default. So that's really encouraging to hear that that hasn't changed very much for you.
Right, right. We haven't really been because I think sometimes with government, they're starting to change. It's starting to get with the times with 2020 and the technology and what we have as far as different systems. We do have some old systems with the state, but they're trying to change that now.
Hmm.
So the next 2, 3 years is going to be some major changes, which is good. It needs to happen. So we connect more with the millennials and the generation after that too.
Hmm. What skill do you think you acquired in governor's school that's helped you the most in your daily life today?
I think I had my friends and my friend group of people from all races and cultures. So having that friends from all walks of life has helped me in my life now, and knowing how to relate to people, knowing how to be empathetic towards people. Um, that's been very helpful for me because my friends now are still of all walks of life, and being able to and know people are people and to engage with human beings, and especially in HR, engaging with different people from all walks of life, that's helped me a lot. I think that was the biggest thing that I got out of government school, aside from the academic portion of it as well. Because at government school, we learn very academically as well, too.
On the flip side of that, what do you think we should have learned? What do you wish you would have learned more of in governor's school now that you're an adult and you maybe had to learn some of that stuff on your own?
Financial intelligence, learning how to save, knowing how to invest, thinking about retirement. That's been in my head a lot in the last couple of years. Retiring and having enough money, and when that time comes, I think it's important to probably have a class of that in school. I think kids need to learn at that age. That's a good age to start teaching kids about money and investing and retirement and having multiple streams of income as well. That would be a great class to have in high school.
Totally. What if
Yeah.
you, where have you found information on that on your own to learn that bit?
A lot of just online and YouTube, and it's like you have all this. It's a wealth of knowledge online, but you have to be careful of who and what you listen to and hear. Use your common sense, I guess, and do what works for you. If you're a family of you got like 2 or 3 kids, what works for that person may not work for someone who's single. So just use your common sense and learn what works for you as far as financially investing and all that.
What sort of things would you like to share either with other alumni that graduated from governor's school or kids who are current students or thinking about becoming students?
I'm thinking about me in high school and what would have been nice to know.
Hmm.
I mean, the one thing was the financial intelligence part of it. Another thing, as far as your major and career, I was fortunate enough to pick mine early on, but that may not happen. So don't fear change. Don't fear, switching your major once you get into college. Just have an open mind. Pick something in career-wise that's going to, that you're passionate about, but can also, make make your money too, you know. You want to be able to take care of yourself. Once you become, you know, once you own a house and a car, you know, it costs money to live. So you want something that's going to be profitable to you, you know, in the long run, but something you enjoy doing as well.
Have you been back to the governor's school for any of the alumni events? I can't remember if I saw you at the 20 year.
Last time I think I saw you, weren't you, 3 years
Yeah,
ago at our high school reunion?
very
That,
briefly. Yeah.
that's very brief. I didn't get to chat with you much. Yeah, that was the last event I've been to. I haven't been to any of them since then. That was like 4 years ago. But I mean, I would like to be more involved in alumni events. It was nice to see everyone there because it was like old times. Of course, we've gotten older, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's like, I can't believe 20 years had passed already, you know? But yeah, I encourage anyone to be more involved in alumni events and to network. It's good for networking, I think, too. It's good to keep in touch.
I have one more question for you.
Uh-huh.
What's the first thing you're going to do once we're allowed to travel again, once COVID's like not a thing anymore?
First thing I want to do is travel. You know, I went to Barbados last year, and I want to do a lot of more traveling. So that's probably what I would like to do more. Just more traveling. I mean, just the simple things like going to the movies.
Do
Yeah,
you guys have any
pretty,
drive-in movie theaters around Richmond?
yes.
Yeah,
Goochland has one. Not in Richmond, but like probably 40 minutes away from me in Goochland.
hmm
There's a drive-in. I've been to that, and that's really cool. So anyone who hasn't been to a drive-in movie theater needs to go. It's really nice.
totally.
That experience is totally different than the actual movie theater.
Cool. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time today, Audrey.
Thank you. I appreciate it.